And I've watched thousands of YouTube videos and thousands of sort of educational pieces where I'm like, nope, that's wrong.
This is Kevin, the man behind the epic gardening YouTube channel. Over 600 videos, he has amassed over 2.5 million subscribers, and that's just on his main channel. And he has countless videos, over 1 million views each.
The deeper you go down retitling or rethumbing, the more it means you just missed your concept, and the actual video just sucks.
In this video, Kevin is going to reveal everything from ideation.
I put a lot of time into figuring out, okay, how do I title this? How do I thumbnail this? What are the beats?
To why you shouldn't blame the YouTube algorithm.
Sometimes you have to take the L and just let the video, let it die on the vine, so to speak.
How to balance search versus recommended content.
And you can look at our channel history and just see our misses and go like, yeah, that's kind of a dumb idea. Why would you publish that?
And the most important skill every creator needs to work on.
Study those people and be like, well, how the hell are they getting away with this when they're breaking all the rules?
That's right, folks. Another gaming channel in sight. vidIQ is going green. And the first thing I want to start with is, you say that blaming the YouTube algorithm is a loser strategy. So if it's not the algorithm's faults, what are the typical reasons why a video fails?
I mean, I should know, because I somehow fail to learn from my own lessons often on YouTube. I just had a whole meeting yesterday with our team where we were planning out a couple months worth of content. We caught ourselves in like 3 classic YouTube mistakes. Like, you know, as a channel grows up, ours is quite large now, it's tougher and tougher to do really niche topics without somehow broadening them with a good story or a good concept. I mean, how to grow an apple tree. Well, the video could just be how to grow the apple tree. You don't have to, you know, hook someone's attention. And I used to lean on that a lot. And I think it harkens back to like my days as a blogger, because you're really focused on SEO in that world.
A lot of creators get their first big break on YouTube through search traffic. And for many channels, especially in the education, how-to, utility niche, they often end up staying in that search bracket. But when a channel finds themselves in this spot, they miss out on the potential of recommendations, where 70% of YouTube views typically come from. Kevin could have easily have been another one of those channels. But Kevin was able to successfully avoid that common pitfall and skyrocket his channel. I could have used grow, but I'm intentionally trying to avoid gardening puns by realizing that his channel could be more than just a destination for answering gardening questions.
You could run a pure YouTube SEO strategy and just do like tutorials on how to grow all these different plants, but you're not going to build a brand that people actually really connect to. If I'm just sitting there like, today we're going to learn how to grow an apple tree. It needs this much light, it needs this much water. You have to weave something that people actually want to watch. I think not putting enough story into the videos has been a classic mistake of mine, because I'm in a very informational industry, right?
Is there a beginner's guide? How can you weave a story into something that on the face of it is just a search term?
What I've started to do is tell stories about my experience with that plant. Like, I've always struggled to grow this plant. In fact, way back in the day, the first one I ever grew, my brother ate and he almost threw up. Let's help you not have your brother throw up and, you know, grow this plant. Yeah. So like, that's like a little micro anecdote. But then, you know, we've started to do like almost the story of the plant itself. I'm still kind of learning here, but I just try to weave in personal elements or little fun things that are more than just, you know, how much water it needs.
You know, it's funny to think back to when I was a small channel with just dreams and aspirations, and I thought all of these big YouTubers had everything under control. But it is clear to see here, despite all of Kevin's success, he remains humble. Kevin has the humility to accept that he still makes mistakes and has challenges, despite all he's learned throughout his YouTube journey. And what Kevin learned was that his audience didn't just want answers, they wanted stories too. When did you make the conscious decision to not just be a search-based channel? Was there a light bulb moment or just a gradual shift?
It's when I started the homestead channel, Epic Homesteading. Bought a house May of 2020, and this is my greatest move as a YouTuber, I think, or my most savvy move, is when it was hot for me. You know, gardening, home stuff was all hot at that time. I started the second channel with no videos, which maybe wasn't so smart, but either way, we were at 35,000 subs with no videos. And so then when I posted the first video, it was just a mobile phone tour of my new home, which was just there's nothing there. It was just a tour of what I wanted to do at that house. And that video cranked. And I was like, oh, this is a different style. I've never done this sort of vloggy style, and people are enjoying it. And I go, okay, this is a completely different way of approaching YouTube. Like this is more of like a lifestyle vlog. The education comes second, not first. Like it's more the storytelling and the life and the entertainment value. And then we give you nuggets of gardening along the way versus the main channel is more like, how do I teach you how to grow an apple tree and entertain you as much as I can, but the education's first. And so it's when I started the second channel that I realized there's just another way to play the game.
Here at vidIQ, we are big advocates of experimentation, trying something new, which, to be frank, may surprise some of you. On the one hand, we will strongly advise that you stick to a niche and stay consistent with it. But channels don't grow if they do that 100% of the time. They plateau and stagnate. Remember, at the start of your YouTube journey, you were experimenting 100% of the time to just figure stuff out. And that's what I encourage all of you to do. Never stop experimenting. Just find a new balance. You need to continue serving your audience, which you've worked hard to earn, and flexing your creative muscles. And that's what Kevin was able to do with his second channel. And as a result, he has two very powerful ways of communicating with his audience. And that's what I wanted to talk about next, actually, Kevin. Like traffic sources, search and recommended. What's the difference between the two?
I was a pure search style YouTuber in the earlier days, right? I would say, have I done a video on growing rosemary? Yes or no? If no, I should make one. And then I watch every video out there. I look at everything in the top 10 and I say, what are they doing? What are they not doing? How can I do it better? And then I just call the video how to grow rosemary, basically.
Yep,
I mean, a little more dressy than that.
Sure. Yeah.
And the thing is, those videos crank. They just take time to crank. And that's the hardest part is I'm now running a dual-minded channel on our main one, at least, where we'll do that style video, but then we'll also do, you know, gardeners react to viral TikTok plant hacks. And that one rips right out of the gate or it doesn't, right? And so I'll know if that one wins right away. Whereas the search ones, I go, I know it's a popular plant. Like all the theory makes sense, but I just need to wait. And so that's what I would say. If you're running more of a search style, as long as you're confident the video that you've made is quality and will output value to the viewer, you sort of just have to wait for it to do well. That's my opinion.
As a creator, it's always important to ask yourself this question. What is the intent of my video? If you know the answer to that, then you can set realistic expectations. If the video is particularly time sensitive or designed to entertain an audience, then it likely needs to perform as soon as it's published. In those circumstances, you're looking for a video that is 1, 2, 3 of 10. But if your video is timeless and will be just as relevant today as it is in a year's time, then you may need to exercise a little bit of patience before the video starts to, as Kevin puts it, crank. That leads me on to the classic question of quantity versus quality. Do you have any strong thoughts, opinions, guidance, either way on that discussion?
When I really felt like I became a YouTuber was probably early 2020. And of course, that would be with the pandemic and you know, you see subscriber counts go crazy. So I remember messaging my editor and I was just posting whenever I felt like I had something to post. There was no schedule or anything like that. Didn't think about thumbnails much. And I said, look, we're going to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the rest of the whole year. I think early on, in our world, there's so many things you can make a video about. Like there's, you know, 25 to 40 popular fruit trees. You could just do a grow guide on all those. You could think about it that way. If I don't think I've covered a topic, I should definitely make the video and I should make it better than any other video out there. But these days, it kind of goes back to like, as your channel scales, your strategy changes. Yeah. I do think about that a lot because I can't just pump out 30 videos in a month because they're all done. It doesn't seem to make sense. We've had examples of that. Like I grew corn from seed to harvest, which is like 90 days. So by the end of the 90 days, at that time of year, you can't grow corn anymore. So why would I publish a video, right? Because it's not timely anymore. However, I published it anyways. It was a deep 10 out of 10. You know, the 10 out of 10s where like, not only is it a 10, but it's dramatically worse than the 9. It's
under the cone of shame, we call, you know, the typical numbers, but the line is just way underneath it. Yeah, we have one of them on Friday. Yeah.
So if you're 10, like if your 9 to 10 was 20K views in time period, this would have been like a 6. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. And I was really actually quite frustrated because that took a lot of effort to grow. And then next year happened. And now that video is at 600,000 views. It just needed the season to come back around.
This conversation reminds me of a phrase Tim Schmoyer, our chief coach creator here at vidIQ, once said. Quantity will build your creative skills, but quality will build your loyal audience. And I guarantee you that audience will rapidly build when you get into recommendations. So we've talked quite a bit there about the search-based content on your channels. For recommended videos, do you have like a different type of benchmark for determining how it performs initially?
For recommended, I think the two buckets of content we like to do, we do these tours. So we'll tour a garden or a farm, and we'll also do these reaction style videos. Sometimes we'll also do a tour update of our own garden. And those that have a chance to go recommended, I think. To me, because we tend to skew heavier on search or highly timely things, if a recommended concept isn't firing right out of the gate, I feel like I've made a miss, right? Because if you think about, like, let's say 60-70% of our videos are search-based and 30 are recommended. Yeah. Well, the recommended should shoot up to the top quicker than the search-based based on what we just shared. So if I don't see that in like a 1, 2, or 3, I'm like, what did I miss? And so we'll try to retitle or rethumb it. But I think the deeper you go down retitling or rethumbing, the more it means you just missed your concept. And the actual video just sucks, you know? And so sometimes you have to take the L and just let it die on the vine, so to speak.
Now this struck a chord with me because it feels like a conversation we're constantly wrestling with within the YouTube team here at vidIQ. When we launch a video, we refuse to settle on it being a 10 of 10, sometimes even a 6 of 10. We're asking ourselves, half an hour after it's been published, what can we do to improve this? But it also means diverting more time and resources to content that's already made as opposed to planning what's next. I don't know, maybe I'm too protective of my content and refuse to give it the simple L. I'm sure you feel the same way, right? So an hour in, we could be changing the title and quickly making another thumbnail. But I'm curious to know how Kevin deals with this stress. In terms of making changes to the title, thumbnail, is it within the first hour, few hours? Do you give it 24 hours?
I know there's YouTubers out there they'll watch the real-time analytics and they'll just be flipping it on a 10-minute cadence or something. Like, our team isn't cranking that many thumbs out to be able to do that, nor do I really want to be chained to the channel in that way. And so I'll launch it with an A/B. So I'll launch it running an A/B test. I'll let that play out, and then I'll go from there. Sometimes I'll emergency change the title if I really think it was bad.
You mentioned that the video idea and packaging comes above all else, essentially. If you're trying to fix it after the fact, then the idea was wrong in the first place. So why do you think that is the most important part of the production process?
The idea is what makes the thumbnail and the title. And in that sense, that's what makes the rest of the video. So if the concept isn't strong enough, you just got to go back to square one. I mean, I credit a lot of the bigger sort of entertainment YouTubers for popularizing that line of thought. In our world, I never really gave it that much weight because I was like, well, it's not that hard to come up with ideas. Just teach you how to grow pepper, teach you how to grow a tree, you know, whatever. And that works in the search world. But when you try to expand your audience into recommended and browse and stuff, like, you really have to concept these things out and think about all the different things that makes an idea strong. And this is like the bane of everyone's. Like, sometimes you feel brilliant in this area and sometimes you feel like an absolute idiot. And you can look at our channel history and just see our misses and go like, yeah, that's kind of a dumb idea. Why would you publish that? So that's why I think it's important.
You see? Every creator has those idiot moments. Yes. How do you determine if an idea is good enough to go to production? How much time are you investing in it before pressing record?
I mean, a good amount. We found a new series idea that we're going to be doing next year, which is growing experiments. So we've never really done a true growing experiment, like a side-by-side comparison. We just released that video on our main channel. It's the most recent one, and it just took off like a rocket. It's at 311,000 views. Our second best video for this first 4 days would have been 130,000 views. So it's way better. And also, it's seasonally. It should not be doing this well because it's almost November and no one's gardening right now. So it's a total outlier. And so to me, I go, okay, well, that's not only is that a good idea, but that's a whole new format of video that we have not discovered yet. And we wouldn't have known it unless we spent the time to plan this whole experiment out. So in that case, we sat there and we're like, okay, what do we want to test? We want to grow tomatoes and we want to bury food scraps underneath these tomatoes. But what are the best food scraps to bury? And that's the whole idea of the videos. Like, is this a good idea? And if it is, how do you do it? And so we spent quite a bit of time once we decided that's interesting enough to do. And the way we decided it's interesting enough to do is we said, well, we inherently want to know the answer. We know that's a popular thing in our space, is to bury food scraps. And we know that other people who've done this idea or a twist on the idea have done pretty well. So do we think, is it broad enough? Yes. Is it interesting? Yes. Is there evidence of success in the past? Yes. Can we do it better? Yes. And then we go, okay, well, now let's spend a couple hours like actually planning it.
Now, if you're a regular here at vidIQ, which you probably are if you're this deep into the video, you'll have noticed that we've been sharing more of these creator stories over the last few weeks. And of course, the main aim of these creator stories is to educate, inspire, and motivate all of you. But they've also been very eye-opening for us. Why? Well, the process these creators follow is eerily similar to our own, even if we are in a completely different niche. Just as Kevin was shooting off the criteria for what determines whether he makes a video, we have a similar set of questions we ask ourselves. Does the video idea excite us? Can we really passionately get into the content? Is there evidence that this type of video idea resonates with our audience? Is it a video that we can actually realistically produce? And can we easily package the idea into an engaging video? And we too, of course, look for outliers and study other creators to see what's working. More often than not, it does come back to the idea over anything else. And that's certainly more so than fancy equipment or a lot of production budget.
And dude, right now, especially right now on YouTube, that's never been more true than right now. Like, you have Sam Sulek, who's going crazy right now in fitness. That guy has, I don't even know what he films on, nothing crazy. And he doesn't edit his videos at all either. And he doesn't have thumbnails. He's just exceptionally compelling. There's this woman, the Wizard Liz, who has like 4 or 5 million subs. And she actually has definitely terrible video, and her captions, like she puts on the videos, are absolutely terrible. It literally looks like 2010 YouTube in a bad way. But what she's delivering is so powerful to this audience that they're eating it up left, right, and center, right? And so there's outliers everywhere. Study those people and be like, well, how the hell are they getting away with this when they're breaking all the rules? That's the thing that they're really good at that you need to figure out.
So ideas, research, personal development, all of which cost nothing. Sam Sulek, yeah, we've covered his YouTube journey over here.